Hello, and welcome back to the Pretty Little Podcast. We're your hosts.
My name is Phoebe.
And my name is Caroline. And we were totally not supposed to be recording right now. Guys, this was not the freaking plan. This was not the freaking plan. And I want to give us both a little pat on the back. A little pat on the back for still recording something.
We're still doing it, yeah.
Because unlike us,
we will thank ourselves later.
we will be so happy that we did this, because literally last week I was like, okay, Caroline, you just have to like record one more episode and then you get like a 3-day break from recording. But here we are. We still showed up, so we'll be really happy we did it. And we do love a little bit of gab time, and I feel like we've got some things to talk about. So Phoebe, what happened to you on Friday?
Guys, I was supposed to be on the farm right now in Manchester, Tennessee, and it got canceled. Bonnaroo did.
Bonnaroo. Phoebe's favorite thing to do is just be like, you guys know what I'm talking about. And like, you do. But
well, they
what
knew I
if?
was going. They knew I was going. We taled about it last week. I was so excited.
It's like, this is not the first time Bonnaroo's done this to you. And I just think like, hey, Phoebe, fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Because the thing is, how many chances, it's like a toxic ex. How many chances are we giving Bonnaroo?
In my brain, Bonnaroo gets as many chances as it wants. I'll go back next year.
And hey, therapists, are we listening? That's your problem. And that's your problem.
The thing about this versus, because I was supposed to go in 2021 when it got canceled because of the hurricanes, because at that time it was in September, it wasn't in June, because the COVID had canceled it. And so they canceled it a week before we were supposed to go, or roughly a week. Like, people weren't
courteous.
It was, yes, people weren't. They didn't open the campgrounds. So the worst case scenario for people was like they had flown into Nashville already, or they were on their way. Like, those were the things. They hadn't set up their camp. They hadn't gotten there. They could get a full refund, all this stuff.
Right.
Like, that was what. And the thing is that the forecast then looked exactly like the forecast now for this past weekend. And they posted on Tuesday, rain or shine. We're going rain or shine. So I'm like, okay, they learned. They learned from 2021. They must have done something to the grounds so that they can accommodate this much rain that we're expecting. And guys, something about the Tennessee weather, especially in May and June, especially this year, we've gotten like record rain.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we should have maybe thought about that a little bit. But also, it rains like this every June. I think we need to consider maybe picking a different weekend. It's also always so hot. It's like, why don't we do this in the fall? I don't know.
Well,
anyway,
ACL. I wonder how much like that plays into it. Just like when.
Well, I think that is probably part of it. But like Gov Ball just happened. There are festivals every weekend in the summer.
I know, but like location wise, I wonder if that like.
I feel like, and I don't know who does ACL. They're all the same company. I'm sure that it's the same as Bonnaroo, but if they switch those around, ACL was in a camping festival, so the elements don't matter quite as much as they do at Bonnaroo when people are living on the festival grounds. Like, the videos were harrowing, seeing the state of people's campsites. We didn't camp. We drove in on Friday afternoon, and we waited in the car for like hours, and then we drove to get. They closed. They call it Centerview, where everything happens. They closed that, so we had to sit. But luckily, we were parked behind the stages. Mimi got us really great parking. Oh, and so it was
could
perfect.
Get out easily.
Yeah, we could get in and out very easily.
Because that's what I was picturing. Like, imagine you get there, you set up like your campsite, you're like ready to go. You're like basically
you can't
in
drive
a grid.
out.
Like, you're locked in. Yeah, you can't leave. So that is
even my friends.
Is a blessing.
They also, for like other patrons, they closed all the car tolls where people check cars and like let you in and out. So people couldn't, unless you, I think, were leaving, you couldn't get back into the parking lot if you were parked in GA parking. We could get in and out, which was nice. So like at a certain point when we were like, okay, we're not going to see some of these acts that we really wanted to see. Let's go get food. We went to McDonald's, and then we went and bought a bunch of beers, and then we sat in the car, and it was fine. Like, that was nice and it was fun, but that was fun when we were like, we're still gonna go in. We're still eventually gonna get in there.
You're like still hype for what's to come. No, I know. And I was thinking about one thing. I was like, there is something so beautiful about being in a car with a bunch of your friends and like you all being into music and like just those are such like, thank God you were with friends and it wasn't like a family excursion.
Thank goodness for that. But also, me and Mimi always talk about our rough patch. Our rough patch was last Bonnaroo, and it was actually before that Bonnaroo.
Wait. I do think I remember your rough patch with
me and Mimi were in a fight, but I didn't know that we were fully in a fight. I was unsure if we were in a fight because Mimi gets in these things called quiet. She's gonna hate that I'm saying this. Mimi has quiet moods.
Yeah, you've said this so many times. So if she was gonna hate it, she already hates it. So go for it.
And I had kind of picked up on that, but we weren't I used to really notice them because we were living in the same building. Now it's are you just not texting me back? Anyway. Yeah. And I got in the car for Bonnaroo last year, and I was like, it was the most uncomfortable hour of my life.
Oh my God.
Because Mimi and I are both avoidant, so we weren't really talking about it, but we knew that we were in a fight, I guess. And
what was the fight about?
Mimi didn't know how to communicate to me that I wasn't spending enough time with her.
Oh my God, Mimi, girl, call me. I can relate. I love when Phoebe's home and I'm like, Phoebe. And then here's how I do it. I'm like, Phoebe. I feel neglected by you, and every now and then I have to say it, and she's like, oh, I didn't realize, and then she'll make an effort, and then it's great, but you do have to remind her sometimes that
I've been much better about it. The difference last year was that it had been that stretch of weeks where I was out of town, I was only in Nashville for a couple of days at a time every so often, and she didn't know how to deal with that. And then we went to Bonnaroo. And but we were getting a kick out. I was like, if this had been our experience last year, I don't know if we'd still be standing.
Oh my God, you would have been. It would have been a bottle episode. It would have been in Girls when they go get Jessa from rehab.
Exactly right. That's kind of how it felt. And then luckily we got a tip from someone who was very kind, and they said, hey, you gotta call in the day. You gotta get out of here.
Wow.
Get out fast. And we were home so fast. And I was like, man, we really thank God for that person. And then we were sitting in the car, and when we were driving in, we were like, how have they not posted yet and said that they're calling the day?
You're all the way home, and they start they're people are posting videos of the acts are playing. There. You're like, that guy was actually the devil in disguise.
He wanted our parking spot.
Yeah.
And then I think it's because they were like, are we canceling the day? Are we canceling the whole thing? It would be I empathize with the people who had to make that. They are probably they're more devastated than we are. And also now they have to clean it up, because I know a lot of people left all their stuff there because they're like, I'm not dealing with this. And also I'm thinking about the people who spent thousands of dollars on camping gear that's now not usable. And people only get, if you had a 4-day pass, you only get a 75% refund, because they did do Thursday.
Okay, but I feel like Bonnaroo is going to have to answer for this. They're going to have to answer for their sins. How do you continue on as a festival this way after
this is twice in 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're going to have to do or say something. And so I do feel like people who had tickets, maybe they will be able to do something, but they have to recoup their own damages, I guess, because I'm sure these artists are.
Well, I think they get insurance
still.
Because of when they canceled.
Wow.
Anyway. So that's where I should be, you guys. And
who would you be listening to right now?
Right. Well, we would be leaving right now, probably. But Hozier was today. Hozier was going to be tonight.
Well, you've seen Hozier enough, greedy.
Yeah. No, but that's Mimi's husband. Mimi is.
I'm talking to you, not Mimi.
But yesterday I would have seen Role Model and Olivia Rodrigo. I was getting so excited about Olivia Rodrigo, actually. Because not that I wasn't excited, but I started listening a lot more to Guts, which I haven't listened to in forever. And I was like, this album is really good. Yeah. And I want to hear it. And Mimi had just seen her at Gov Ball and was like,
it's fun concert music too.
She said she was blown away by her. I was like, whoa, Mimi doesn't speak like this about artists.
Well, yeah, because she
went to the Taylor Swift
talented singer, and she went to the Taylor. But that blown away by Olivia Rodrigo, y'all are underestimating her. And I haven't been. And it's on the record, thank God. And Caroline does always usually turn out to be right. Always usually. But yeah, I just am saying God. I love Sabrina Carpenter. I think she's a great singer. I do think Olivia Rodrigo's a better vocalist. And I think it surprises people. And when they see her live, they're blown away. Because the thing is, it does make a huge difference when you go and you're listening to a backing track that you can't distinguish if it's Sabrina or not. And when you're hearing that the mic is fucking on, like, it's a different feel in the room, you know?
Yeah. Well, speaking of always being right, last night, people came back over to my house after the night was over, and someone said something about Ryan Reynolds. Like, they said something, and then someone like made an offhanded comment about Blake. And I was like, you guys didn't mean to just lock me into place right here, because I'm about to take you to school.
Did you? Oh my God, how did it go?
Especially because I was talking to someone who really gives like feminist energy.
Yeah.
Like, she gives like she would want to be on the right side, and I was like, you've been brainwashed.
Did they kind of come to their senses?
Yeah, and they did. It's nice when people will understand in a conversation when someone knows more than them, and not in a way of like, I know more about American Girl doll than you do, genius.
No, but exactly.
But like, they were like, oh, like, I didn't know. I want to hear what you have to say, because I don't actually know the facts.
I love when people do that too. That's why, and also like, that's why the person who approached me in the nail salon, I was like, how much do you know about it? Because it's going to determine the kind of conversation we're going to have about this. And I'm not trying to come in here talking about things that I'm assuming that you know and like trying to disprove those. If you don't even know the things I'm about to say to you, then we have to start really at square one. And like, if you don't answer me honestly, then it's just, if you can just acknowledge that, like, yeah, I don't spend hours poring over this shit because most normal people don't. I know, it was perfect.
I like mid-sentence when I started getting into it, I was like, no, I have to explain that I have a podcast.
Of course, and that's called advertising.
To a room of 10 people who everybody's drunk, and I have to be like, okay, I have a podcast.
Wait, they don't know?
Well, no, it was a lot of some people that I didn't like. It was it was an amalgamation of people.
Yeah. Okay.
And
well, that's the best when that happens, because it is like your own personal live show.
And then Mimi will be like, no, it's really good. Like, even when I went to Taylor's the other day, and her roommate was like, had friends over, and the podcast came up. And even Taylor's roommate, who I didn't know really knew anything about the podcast, goes, and it's really good. I was like,
people take it seriously. It's the best when you realize that. I was at Kelly's birthday party, and it was like a birthday dinner, and I was like on, and I think I told you this, but afterwards, like, one of the girls that I don't really know that well said to someone else, oh my God, she is so funny. I could like listen to her talk for hours. And the girl goes, well, you're in luck. Do you know she has a podcast? And she was like, wait, what? And I was like, and that's how you get listeners. And that's how you convert total strangers into listeners, into loyal fans. Okay. That's how you do it. Well, I want to tell you that you'll be really happy that I watched Ma last night for the very first time. And I just like,
is it not one of the greatest movies you've maybe ever seen?
Yeah, I loved it. Anthony was transfixed. Anthony is not a horror movie person. He does not like scary movies. I can probably count on one hand how many times he's like actually.
I remember when we watched Strangers with him.
Yeah, like he's not.
That was not for him.
He's not into it. He does not really like it. And this one, I feel like because it is such a campy, goofy ass movie, it's like discussed as such. Yeah, but he didn't realize it was actually scary. Like that wasn't like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He thought this was like a black comedy kind of a thing, which like, of course it is in a way. Like it's dark and it's hilarious in the way that it's camp. Like that's the whole point. But he thought that it was more like that. And I was like, oh no, this isn't like, it's not like a scary movie or like a Jennifer's Body type of film. This was supposed to be a real horror movie, and with I guess comedic elements, but certainly not.
Well, certainly like, with those, certainly with comedic elements.
Comedy, you know what I mean? And anyway, I was just dying. Like, I'm sorry, there were some things I just could not stop laughing at, and the main girl, I think you maybe said it. I need to like re-listen to what you said about Ma. Did you say she was like the ultimate Aria?
Probably, because she
I was just like, girl, I was like, okay, Gracie Abrams looking ass, like get off the screen. She was just like she was annoying me.
She was supposed to be the next like it girl. She was in Booksmart and people loved her.
She's beautiful.
And then she did this. But I mean, It's a classic.
Well, she lived to tell the tale, so I'm assuming she's going to be in the sequel.
Yeah, I hope. I mean, but here's his spoiler alert, everybody. We're going to talk about spoilers. I'm like, how are we bringing Ma back?
Well, yeah, that is a good question.
How'd she escape?
We didn't see her die. And what I do want to say is that Ma, the movie, ends the exact way Hurry Up Tomorrow, the movie, begins. And I was like, okay, Kelly, is this you get like the same angle of the burning house as Jenna Ortega drives away crying. And I'm like, there was another girl in the house. There was somebody else in the house, and that's why she burned it out. And it's like, well, that makes sense. Why didn't you just say it?
I like didn't pay attention to that first scene in the movie when the girl meets the girl in the wheelchair. I like didn't really. I wasn't like. I thought she was just being nice. I was like, okay, this character isn't gonna come back later. Surely,
right? Oh.
And also like they do make you feel for Ma.
Well, that was the tough part. Yes, as I was like, okay,
like that origin story. I was like,
Anthony's like, well, she was sexually assaulted. I'm like, that's what I'm saying.
I was sitting next to Jules and JC. I was like, guys, I can't watch this.
It's giving.
I know what's happening.
No,
I can't watch this.
It's so sad. And then like, but then it's like, okay, we must remember, yes, a lot of people say hurt people, but there are a lot of hurt people who do not do this. And here's the deal. I love the revenge. Get that revenge on those pieces of shit, but not their children. It's giving Pretty Little Liars original sin.
And don't make out with the 17-year-old.
Don't make out with the 17-year-old.
When they fully made out, I was like,
can I also say that I was
what?
fully expecting him to like pull a knife on her during the makeout sesh. When they like completed the makeout sesh, I was like, oh, he was into it. Oh, he's like, now we can finally be together. Yeah.
Oh, he's been dying.
Oh, you've been literally lusting after her. Now I get it. When she decides like her punishment for everybody, and she painted the little boy,
I was like, I
was like, oh my god,
there can only be one of us.
There can only be one. Oh
but also,
my god,
I was like, okay, I wake up, I'm like, this isn't so bad.
I
wake up, I'm covered in paint. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And then I look around and I'm like,
I look around. I look at the girl whose lips are completely sewn shut.
Sewn together.
No, it was.
And look at my friend who's dying on the ground.
Her just fully killing when she first pulls out the gun, like that whole thing. I was just like, this is why kids, you should not underage drink. And that's really the lesson of this.
That's like, what it was.
If you're drinking, you're gonna get something bad happening to you. If you're drinking underage. Yeah. Also, I was alarmed by the amount of drunk driving there was in this film. What's the scariest part?
Well, what's his name doesn't drink.
Well, okay.
So they say.
I'm like, yeah, everyone tells their parents that.
But for me, I probably wouldn't have gone to the basement at all. I certainly wouldn't have gone back after this woman made my one friend strip. Oh, completely.
Well, that was crazy. And for Phoebe, for you and me, I mean, we wouldn't have been in the car. We would have been like, hey, it would have stopped at, I've got to ask my mom if I can go to a second location. Well, it would have stopped at, my mom's going to ask for a photo of someone's front door.
Hey, it would have stopped when my friends were like, we need to wait outside the liquor store and try to find someone who's going to buy us alcohol illegally.
Raid your parents' wine cabinet.
I'm going to go home. Else. I'm going to head home and like let you guys do this. I'm out. I'm out of here. I just love that Octavia Spencer is so committed to the bit constantly. Like I look back on her being in Wizards of Waverly Place and I'm like, this is an Academy Award winning actress and she always has been. Like that's always been her vibe.
She just loves acting.
She
like
does
it because she loves it and she has fun doing it. And that's the kind of actor I think I would like to be. Is just the type that like I'm taking whatever project makes me like feel something, smile. Like if I just like it, I'll do it. Now Nicole Kidman, sometimes I think she could use a little bit more discernment. I'll be honest, but
she loves uplifting stories.
I did love in Love Island Ariana Madix saying not in front of Nicole Kidman when she found out that Austin has sex in an AMC. How does that make you feel as an A-lister? Hey Austin, you just got your A-lister lifetime revoked. Lifetime ban on Austin from all AMCs, and I'm in agreement after seeing his brother's TikTok post.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's crazy too. And we'll talk about Love Island later, but like it's also crazy that all these people are like, Austin's growing on me. I'm starting to like the other guys suck so much that that's how they feel. But I'm like, that's how it happens. That's how it happens. And we have to remember that just when he starts to grow on you, his little brother is going to crawl out of the woodwork and remind us all who he is. Don't ask us where we were January 6th. Just want to put it out there. Crazy. Austin's not your guy. Okay?
No. Anyway, well, I'm so glad you watched Ma because
it was awesome. It was really
she's
good.
Just so fucking fun. I mean, all the lines, her outfits, when she does the robot.
Oh my God. No, I mean, I absolutely loved it. It was an instant classic. I'm so psyched they're making a sequel. I watched it with Kelly and Anthony. We all had a blast. Anthony was stressed though. Like the whole time he's like, no. He's like talking under his breath. I was like, I can't with this. Like, okay. Last time you're invited to movie night. I did some other fun stuff yesterday that I want to tell you about. One of which is I found the little tiny print vending machine in Bakery Square in Pittsburgh. If you haven't been, it's so fun. I didn't realize it was like 4 quarters. That's it.
It's such an underrated spot in Pittsburgh. I never go over there, but I feel like every time I do go over there, it's something fun. And it's a cool little area.
Yeah, it really is. I like parked.
Guys, that's
right
where
in front of a
Duolingo
Free People
is,
movement.
in case you were curious.
Yes.
Pittsburgh company.
Loved the Free People movement. Then I went in the anthro. So fun. I love like just going in different anthropologies because they all are like a little bit.
Oh my gosh. If you guys were here for longer, I would want you guys. The one in Franklin is like, it's 2 floors. And it's like the floors are like these massive wooden planks.
Oh my God, beautiful.
It's great.
I love
maybe
an
we could go,
anthropology store.
but it just doesn't seem like it's probably worth it to go all the way out there.
Well, we can discuss. But then we went in this tiny vending machine. And so the way that it works is you put in 4 quarters. And it just harkened us back to our days of like going to Scoops on Beverly. And they had the 4 quarters to get the stickers or the whatever. Like it was that kind of machine. It was so fun. This girl shows up with a full bag of quarters. It was like but they were all adults. Like, so it was like so funny and cute.
That's so sweet.
But so we get there and we're doing it, and a disco ball is one of the options. So obviously I'm like crossing my fingers and my toes, like give me the disco ball.
This machine and Aldi are single-handedly keeping quarters in print.
No, literally. We're like going into the stores like, can I cash this for, can I give you $1 bill for quarters? I'm like literally feel like
we're all out
in Scoops again.
We're fresh
They're
out.
like, not you again. Anyway, I let everybody know how bad I want this disco ball. Like everyone in the vicinity is aware of what we're all like vying for here. And I get the lemon and I get the martini, which is also a really good one. But I was like, I want the disco ball, and I was out of quarters. And this girl goes right after me, disco ball, and she's like, shows it to me. I was like, okay, you knew I wanted that. Can we trade? Because if I were 7, we'd be trading. We'd all be trading our stick. You can't tell me you want it more than me. I branded my skin with it. Can't tell me you want it more than me. But then guess what? I was like, I'm going to go into anthropology and get a juice glass. I had just a Rogue 20 in my purse. So I got the juice glass, got some quarters, go back, moment of truth, got the disco ball mini print. It was such a vindication. I was like, and this is what I've been chasing since I was 7. It's this feeling. It's this feeling.
Oh my gosh.
It's an amazing, amazing feeling. Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. I really liked those prints. They were very cute.
It was really, really cute. And there is one in Nashville, so we definitely got to go when we're there because it's just like a fun little thing to do and whatever. But also, yesterday, we had a conversation with Chuck about his birthday because it is next month. It's less than a month away.
I might be there.
I know. Now I really hope you will be because we decided what we're going to be doing. Because Chuck came in the room and he was like, Mama, Dada. And we're like, yeah, Chuck. And he's like, well, I was hoping maybe for my birthday, if it's not too much trouble, maybe I could get baptized. And we were like, Chuck. We were like, Chuck.
I hate to pull the curtain back for a second, but is this Anthony talking or you?
Here's the thing. I don't remember now how this came up. And so we're both going to say it was
has
Chuck.
to be Anthony.
I don't remember, but we
the same way Pilgore could only be Anthony.
We are going to be having a baptism for Chuck on July 4th. Everyone's invited. It's going to be in the hose. Drama will not be allowed to get wet because obviously it'll be blessed. And it'll be Chuck's little we're going to get him a little white cape. And it'll be his baptism. He's really jealous of the kids at school who are baptized. And he's like, everyone at school is like about to get their first communion, and they said I can't get it unless I've been baptized. So we were like, okay, well, baptize. Like, we're not really Catholic, but hell, we'll give you a baptism.
Every Catholic is, if you're born Catholic, everyone's.
Look, I was confirmed.
We're Catholic.
I'm allowed to baptize my dog.
We're allowed to say we're Catholic.
Thank you. So anyway, how cute is that?
And hey, by the way, we're cradle Catholics.
What does that mean?
We didn't convert to this shit.
Oh, we didn't choose it.
This is the family business.
If I got to choose, I would have had a bat mitzvah, okay? Because let me tell you, Chuck was like, I just am really jealous. And I was like, okay, well, we're not Catholic, but like, I get it. Like, I get it.
But Chuck,
I really wanted to have a bat mitzvah.
Just
so
know
yes,
in
you
10 years, you're going to be really jealous of other kids.
Yeah, but you know what? That's true. And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But for now, yeah, Chuck's going to have a baptism on July 4th.
I was always like, why do Ike and Maggie get to be Catholic and Jewish?
Oh, I was so jealous of the people who
we'd
got to
go to
Christmas
Hanukkah at their house, and I'd be like, "And do you guys have a Christmas tree?"
It was like,
and Santa's coming to your house.
You guys don't seem to understand how lucky you are. You guys are not. I don't feel like it's clock. You're not clocking it. it's not clocking for you that I'm standing on business, to quote Justin Bieber, the great scholar of our time.
This is how I know me and Caroline are so fucking like past the point of no return, brain rot, because that video was released yesterday.
It was released yesterday. And neither of us are like believers. We might be like, you know, generally aware of what is going on over there, but we're not clocked in to the Bieber drama. So the fact that it came across both of our desks enough for us to quote it.
Guys, yesterday I did something that took me, like, I just have been putting off for so long, but I know I'll be so happy that I did it. And also I was so happy that I did it in the moment. I went to go get my photos developed at like not a CVS.
Oh, wow. Why does it matter where you get them developed?
Because this place is like for people that like
it's for real photographers.
This is where Aria would go.
Yeah, okay. I got that vibe as soon as you were like, no, because like this is the guy. I was like, oh, yep, sorry. Hang on, Aria speaking. Sorry, Phoebe left the podcast for a few minutes. This next bit is sponsored by Aria Montgomery.
Anyway, and this girl was so nice. I'm like excited to go back and get my pictures.
When can you go pick them up?
It'll be about a week.
It is such a fun feeling. Especially, honestly, I recommend you forget what the heck is on those disposable cameras.
Exactly. It's been a minute. Like, I don't remember, but I had one roll that I fucked up taking out of my camera. And I was like, do you think there's any way? And she was like, no.
She's like, you actually
you fucking
botched
idiot.
This.
First camera.
You know, Mom used to say, she gave me the idea when I first started dating Anthony. Anytime we like went on a trip or like would have like a fun little thing we did, she would be like, bring a disposable camera, write on it what the trip was, and then wait a year and develop it a year later.
Oh, that's so
and like,
sweet.
It was just so cute. So we did that for a while, but now we just have a ton of disposable cameras around that we haven't developed.
Well, you should
so I really need to go do it.
I hate to be this person, but I only say this because I only had to spend, like, I mean, the camera I bought was not expensive. I obviously haven't gotten the photos back yet, but I know other people who have this camera, and the pictures come out great. But the nice thing about that versus a disposable camera is like you don't have to buy a new camera every time. You can just buy film, and it's like the same. It's probably, I don't know if it's cheaper, but anyway. Then you won't have a bunch of cameras sitting everywhere. You'll just have film sitting everywhere.
Well, honestly, the film might be worse for me to have sitting everywhere. So there. Okay, let's get into, we've got a lot to discuss. And I think the first thing I want to talk about.
How amazing is this mug though, real quick?
Love the mug.
I found this mug in the back of my cupboard because I was really bad at doing my coffee mug dishes this past week. But this is my new favorite mug. It's massive. It's the size of my head. And I took a page out of Liney's book. Liney, and you used to do this too before school, but like she always puts her coffee in a really big mug and runs the Keurig twice, puts 2 large cups of coffee in 1 cup. And that's what I did now. So now I'm like on my 2nd cup of coffee, but it's in 1 mug, and it has been a life changer for me.
Well, there you go. There's Phoebe's latest life-changing discovery. Use a big mug. There you go. Let's talk about the Sabrina album cover. What do you think?
Here's the thing. I missed the 30 seconds after I saw it, and there was 0 discourse, and I saw it. I liked the post, said, can't wait for the album, and didn't think about it again. I missed that.
Yeah. No, I know.
Because I don't know what the woke opinion is. I can't tell. I cannot tell
it's
how
so
I'm supposed to feel.
Because the first batch of opinions I saw was like, okay, this seems like it's going in the opposite direction of where we thought it was headed. She's like supposed to be the certified man hater. So why this? And then very quickly afterwards, the tides turned and it was like, how dare, if you had that opinion, how dare you? Why can't a woman use her sexuality? And I just want to say, like, I mean, I actually had the same as Phoebe. I don't think you said this, but I had no opinion.
Yeah,
I literally was like, okay. I literally had no opinion on it.
And it was really nice.
Whatever.
Hey, guys, it was really nice
to
not
for
have
once in my life, I didn't
opinion.
have an opinion. And I was like, just kind of whatever. But now I'm seeing all this stuff, and I'm like, a few things. Number one, I do think it's possible, and we're entering this really like dicey time in the time of Sydney Sweeney selling her bathwater and bars of soap with holes in them, and a time with Bonnie Blue and what she's doing on OnlyFans, being banned from OnlyFans, and things like Sabrina Carpenter singing these really, really sexual, sexually laden songs, but celebrating her femininity and all these things. Like, we're seeing all these different types of women embracing their sexuality and maybe using their sexuality in the media in certain ways. And I can't tell anymore what people are cool with and what they're not cool with. And I think it's also possible for a woman to look at an album cover and not immediately get the satire that maybe like, we have to understand there are going to be people who see the Sabrina Carpenter album who never have listened to a Sabrina Carpenter song. They're rare, but they exist, okay? And they are going to see that and they're going to have an opinion about it that isn't rooted in who they know Sabrina Carpenter to be. So the thing is, I can look at that and I know Sabrina Carpenter is probably going to turn this into some joke and turn it on its side. And like, it's probably satire because that's who she is. But if I don't know that, like if I'm not up to date on Sabrina Carpenter, I might see it and think, oh, that's weird. And it doesn't mean that I'm like not a feminist. Now, I didn't have this thought, but I'm just saying, like, I do think there needs to be a world where like some women are gonna say their knee-jerk reaction is gonna be that they don't get it. And like, we can't say that isolates them from now being a feminist, because we need the feminists. We need all the feminists we can get. Like, we need to be sticking together.
I saw a couple people bringing Bonnie Blue into the conversation. I do think we need to be really careful about that, because not you. I just mean generally seeing people bring her into it, because conflating this album cover with what Bonnie Blue is doing is just...
Well, that's not... Also, I'm sorry, it's not what I was trying
no,
to
but
do.
People are... That's discourse that I've seen. They're comparing... Like, and the same with Sydney Sweeney. They're comparing all of it. And I understand...
They're all happening at the same time. So it's like 3 different major expressions of like feminine sexuality. And like, I think there are a lot of moving pieces. It's like, who is it meant for? You know, that's one thing that I think is important here, like to consider, because that's going to change how we view it. But the other thing is like, I don't know. It's really complicated. I also think what Bonnie Blue is doing is sex work. So it's not the same as these partnerships that Sabrina and Sydney are doing. So I'm just saying it's interesting to see the discourse about these 3 separate things, these 3 women using their bodies in whatever kind of a way, in 3 different ways, I would say, for 3 different types of people. Although, I don't know.
There's more of a Venn diagram for Sydney Sweeney and Bonnie Blue, unfortunately.
Bonnie Blue right now.
Just because it's not as people.
Their target demographic is men.
Their demographic is what I mean. Yeah.
And like Sabrina Carpenter's target demographic is not men. And that's the other thing. Like if she were making music that sounded like it was for men to be listening to, then that would be a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But her music could not be more girly pop. No guy I know is like turning on Man-Child and like jamming out unless if they're like a toxic man that we're thinking about, you know?
I just think, and I also think we need to start raising the age at which people need to have can have phones, because I don't need to.
That's actually a good idea.
I don't need to see like a 15-year-old is gonna have a really like they're gonna contribute to this discourse in a way where like it's just the adults are talking. You know what I mean? Like I don't. It's
well, I'm gonna like add to that and say a further argument for kids shouldn't have phones so early. It's like they don't need to see half this shit. Like that's the thing, is like they don't need to be part of the discourse of like these 3 women that we're talking about right now, because they really shouldn't even know the name Bonnie Blue, or they shouldn't know why Sydney Sweeney would sell her bathwater, why that would be compelling. Like but they are going to know Sabrina Carpenter because she's going to play on the radio.
Totally.
So then there's that aspect of it, I guess, which we have been talking about for a while, where it's like she does know the age of her fans. And so that is the most interesting part of it, I think.
I saw this tweet that was like, you guys would not have survived the Bangers era of Miley Cyrus.
Oh my
God. We're all up in arms over this. It's just weird. And I do think
true.
There is like a sociological thing that's happening with how we do speak about what women can and can't do, and what's empowering and what's not. The conversation, like it's just really interesting. It's
also fascinating because it's just like not a conversation we're having about men at all.
Yeah, like I actually just want to say something about that. I saw a picture of Chris Brown's concert in Germany, completely packed stadium. We're worried about this. Like we're worried about this.
Me sick.
And like rappers are allowed to put whatever they want on their album covers and talk about whatever they want and talk about women however they want. And I don't mean
whatever they want.
I don't mean to have like a blanket statement on that genre, any genre, but men don't have to get to the same they don't have to defend their
No.
art the way that women are forced to.
And there's just not like there aren't conversations happening where it's like, well, look at these three men and the different ways that they're using their bodies and like blah, blah. No one cares how men use their bodies. Like no one is trying to say you can and cannot use your body like this. Like to men really, except they're saying don't, use your body to hurt other people, of course. But I mean, in this way where it's like where women are literally being told like, hey, you shouldn't wear something that shows your body like that, or hey, you shouldn't like pose like that, or hey, you shouldn't like whatever.
And also like I want to say another thing. People who are saying that this album cover looks like it's like domestic violence, she's not in distress. He is not pulling her hair hard. Hair pulling is like not that weird. Like it's all like she doesn't look
a lot
like
of people some people have started to suggest that perhaps she is the man and we're gonna get like some sort of like music video or zoomed out thing where she's also the man holding the hair. And I did think that could, because the legs look very short on the man.
She likes
he looks
a
like
short
he'd be a
man.
short man. So I'm like, potentially,
she's back with Barry.
She is?
No.
Oh my God. Ugh, don't scare me like that. Anyway, I think there are album covers that are way, way more like
scandalous,
provocative and scandalous than this one. I think part of the reason why it feels, what's interesting to me is like part of the reason that I would be like, oh, I don't know, is because half of her fandom is like in single digits. Like that's the part of me that I would be like,
which
I don't know.
But
for
I
other
think that's
people,
a parenting issue though. Her music isn't for that anymore. And I also want to say,
except that she
in the tour
says it too is the thing. Like
a couple months ago when she was on tour, we were like waiting every night to see like what position is she gonna do for Juno, all this stuff. And I really liked her quote in Rolling Stone when they were like, they asked her about how she feels when people are like, you only sing about sex, and she's like, I have a lot of songs that aren't about sex, but those aren't the ones that you make popular. So like, what is that? You think I sing all about sex, but like you guys are listening to it. You guys care about sex. It reminds
me of what Addison Rae was saying about how taste is a luxury, and she was like, I was performing the way I was performing in 2020 on TikTok because I wanted to get out of where I was. Like I needed to make it enough that I could then go create the art I actually want to be creating.
Which, by the way,
and that is a luxury.
The album is fire.
And it's a luxury, like, because also you have to be at a point where you can afford to have people not understand what you're doing. And that is a huge luxury.
And it took a while for Sabrina to, like, I mean, she had to really claw
that's
her
what I'm
way
thinking. Like,
out
she
of
finally
Disney.
kind of hits on something that is getting her out of where she wanted to be.
And I'm just like, she did all of this, she gets out of Disney, and she's been completely normal the whole time. Like, she didn't have to go through, like, when Miley Cyrus did Bangers, everybody was like, oh, there's a Disney star, like, having her breakdown, like, she's crazy, all this stuff. Sabrina Carpenter didn't have to do that. She did it in a much more polished, whatever, but
Miley Cyrus walked so Sabrina Carpenter could
not.
No,
totally.
Like,
that's what I mean, but, like, it's... I don't know what greater point I was trying to make. I can't remember now.
No, but I think you're right though with what you're saying, and I just think like she'll be the first to tell you Sabrina Carpenter's been in the industry for years and years and years. She's never experienced success the way she did she win Best New Artist or whatever? And she was like, I'm not really like, I don't even know if she won it. I can't remember, but she's like, I'm not new. I've been here for however long.
She has like 6 albums.
Right. And I just think it's like I feel like maybe she started her career maybe the same as Chapel Roan, where they're like, I'm going to make the music I want to be making, and people weren't with you enough for that to have the reception that maybe it even deserved.
The difference with Sabrina, it's not so much that she was just eventually it turned into I'm gonna make, like, I feel like Emails I Can't Send is when she was like, I'm gonna make the music that I want to now, and I can be a little more crass. But she in a different way than Chapel Roan, she had to jump through the hoops. Like, she had to put the Disney records out, and she had to because she wasn't off Disney, I don't think, until Emails I Can't Send. But like, that's another thing. You listen to that album, plenty of the songs on that album are, I don't think the writing is perfect, but like, it's not all about sex. But
I've gone back and listened.
The nonsense outros, that's what got her famous.
Right. And the thing is, it got her famous through the discourse of like, and I mean,
I'll be the first to say,
I was like, Jesus Christ, like. And I still feel like that sometimes. Yeah. Where I'm like, okay.
Sometimes
like,
it is a little much. But it's her prerogative. She can. That's
exactly. And the thing is, she's doing it for a reason. It doesn't mean this is always going to be what she's creating, but I just think it does like remind me of that quote from Addison Rae where it's like, yeah, like she at the time of making Short and Sweet and making this, like, she doesn't feel like she has the luxury to 100% now, like, and I'm sure eventually she will. She won't want to sing about sex as much, but right now that's what's keeping her on the charts. That's what's keeping you listening.
The quirky one-liners. That's like
right, like, and
her
she's
style
clever.
now.
It's smart, and it's like it's not that graphic, disgusting language that men are listening to and like salivating. It's like quirky, fun innuendo, and it's like fun when you get it. You know, things like that. I do think the one area where like I get the criticism is like she does pander to a younger audience. Like she needs to stop.
Do you think?
If she says it. Like she says like, oh yeah, half my fans are 11 and half of them are 30. Like she like saying things like that to me. If I'm a mother and I see that and I'm like, oh, well then if the other 11-year-olds are listening to her, then I guess that's like what people are listening to. Like she's aware of it. And that's where I think it's like gets a little weird sometimes where I'm like, but where like Miley was like, hey, this music isn't for you. So like, I'm going to go shake my ass and do whatever I want. And I don't want little kids listening. And that's why I'm doing it. Whereas Sabrina's like, let me keep everybody if I can. I mean, I speak to so many young kids who are like, I want to sing a Sabrina Carpenter song. And I'm like, oh, sorry, you can't. Like, no.
You can sing one of our original OG Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah. You're in 4th grade. You can sing the song she sang in Mean Girls on Broadway.
You can sing Can't Blame a Girl for Trying.
Please, please, please. Like, I'm sorry, that's just not happening. So, and that's not even the worst one. But you know what I'm saying? So, like, that is where I do feel a little bit like... But again, it is what it is. Like, I don't think it makes her a bad feminist. I think she's doing what she needs to do to make money and to be who she is. I wish she would maybe not reference like her younger fans as much. I know that's a massive chunk of her audience though, so she can't lose them. But it's like,
I think she'd be okay. Even if, because she doesn't, it's not like she'd necessarily lose them. I just think she kind of would cover her bases more if she stopped saying stuff like what you said she said.
Yeah.
Like that's all you have to do. I mean? They'll probably keep listening, but it's kind of like an insurance policy for you to be like.
But if you don't say anything that makes them think that you want them to.
Because I was still listening to Miley Cyrus when I was
right, exactly
10 when that happened. I don't know if I was 10, but whatever. But
so anyway, I don't really care. I'm also like, in terms of what she's wearing in the album cover, like all of her concerts, she's in full lingerie, and then she's wearing like a black dress. She's completely covered, basically. Like it could be so much worse. Like
I said to you and Lily, like I'm just exhausted by the fact that we have to have discourse on every single thing. And this specifically felt exhausting. I was like, this is so annoying. Every time I open my phone, but it's like, I think also this being the week where like this is for some reason what everybody wants to talk about. It's like, there's other stuff that we've got going on. Yeah, there's as an internet community that maybe could shed light. I don't know. Anyway, those are my thoughts, I suppose.
Oh my God. Well, moving on, I want to talk a little bit about some celebrity fan encounters and sort of like how they approach that, because I just do think it's so funny. We've had a few things in the media recently that are just very interesting. Did you see the Doja Cat video?
I actually couldn't watch it, but I know about it because I think I got the context and I got like the surrounding information before I think I clicked on the video, and I was like, I don't want to watch this like knowing what I know about the whole experience and the situation and what Doja said and everything. Like and here are my thoughts.
Well, let's explain what it is for the people who maybe had no clue. So Doja Cat met a fan. I don't know who this fan was. Do you?
No,
is this like an internet personality?
I don't know.
I was just wondering. Fan. Okay. I think. So this fan, whatever. And like in this video, she could not look more happy to be talking to this kid. And he's so happy. They're like touching. He's hugging her. He kisses her cheek. But again, it doesn't look like he's like holding her against her will or anything like this. The smile on her face is like, that can't be faked unless you should be an Oscar-winning actress. She's like, I love your shirt. He takes his shirt off and gives it to her. She's like cracking up. She goes in for more hugs. She's holding his hands, blah, blah, blah. She leaves. She goes home. She tweets, I threw away that musty ass shirt, by the way, or something like that. And then she like talks about how disgusting it is.
She deleted that tweet though first.
She deleted both. of these tweets, because she also tweeted about how disgusting it is for like fans to think they can. She had her Chappell Roan moment online, but unfortunately we all saw the video and it's like, so then what the fuck was that? And this poor kid feels so fucking mortified, embarrassed, it's like, sad. He like probably he's don't meet your idols.
He wouldn't have done anything like that if you had made it seem. And I'm not saying here. My thoughts are like, I totally get where she's coming from. It would be a lot, but it is, boundaries are a two-way street.
Yeah,
you need to like put signs up on the road so that people know that they exist. And maybe he was a little, but like in the parts of the video I did see, like you said. It's not like it's an uncomfortable smile, and it's not like she's pulling back from any of the physical touch.
I watched it with an eagle eye. I was like watching her, and people are now like taking the still of her, throwing her head back in pure glee. And they're like, me after I had the worst fucking time hanging out with you. Like me, like telling you how much talking about how much I fucking hated the person who told me this joke. Like whatever it is. It's like, and it's just like, I'm sorry, Doja, how have you not learned? You can't then go on the internet and just go. You couldn't do that if there wasn't
send
a video.
That text to your friends. Like, don't tweet it.
And then send it to your team and say, how do we figure out a strategy to prevent things like this from happening in the future? Because although I had to act like I was totally in it for whatever reason, I wasn't comfortable and I don't want to be approached like that. So what do I need to do or say publicly so that people know that? Like, that's how you handle that. And the thing is, for me, I'm like, there's just never a world where, to me, you saying that you like felt uncomfortable, or I don't know, it just felt mean, honestly. Like, it felt like she was like going on and like making fun.
It's like she made it about that fan.
Like,
and I think that it should have been a more general statement, like, hey, when I love meeting you guys, and it means so much to me when you guys want to come up and talk to me, but I can get pretty overwhelmed, and the touching or this or that, things that she doesn't like, it's like, if you vocalize that in a way that isn't like, I threw away this guy's musty t-shirt, like that's so sad for that boy.
You told him that you liked it. And I'm like, imagine now you're a fan who's met Doja before and you're like thinking back on your interaction, like, oh, she looked I'm looking at the video of when I met Doja and she looks just as fucking happy. I wonder what she left and fucking thought or said about me. Like, it's so it was like making me think too about Sarah Jessica Parker. And I think it was on Lost Culture that they talked about it, but she's also like come out and said this now. A fan like came up to her at the airport or something and was like, could I get a picture? And
by the way, Sarah Jessica Parker, it's like, you are the every woman. Like, people see, everybody wants to be.
You're Carrie Bradshaw.
Exactly. Like, and I just think she knows that. It would be like if Lena Dunham were more likable. And if like.
Well, wait until you hear this. You're going to die. So Sarah Jessica Parker goes, hi, I don't even know your name. Like, what's your name? And it is like, why don't we just have a conversation? A conversation will be so much more meaningful. And so she basically has said she's tired of people coming up. It's so impersonal. They come up to her asking for photos and they don't even introduce themselves. There's no like niceties at all. And she would just much rather people just sat and really had a conversation with her. And that's how she would like to meet her fans. And I'm like, well, you're going to regret that quick because fans are going to go, hey, Carrie, I just wanted to have a conversation. Do you have time for a conversation with me? Like, I'm sorry, girl, you don't want to be having conversations with all of these people. I assure you. But also, it's just like, girl, they also, you know what? They don't want to have a conversation with you. They saw a famous person and they wanted a picture with a famous person. But having a conversation with you now just ruined the facade. You just made this person realize that they don't like you.
They want to have a conversation with Carrie Bradshaw. They don't necessarily want to have a conversation. And I know that that's sad and it sucks. And like, I know that's probably so overwhelming and exhausting, but it's not, and it's also not like Sex and the City just happened. And it's also like Sex and the City it's still, you're still releasing episodes now. Like you're back in the culture as Carrie Bradshaw. Like, you haven't been trying to put this behind you.
I know that some people are really obnoxious and rude, and like this is a multifaceted issue. Obviously, Chappell Roan has spoken at length about it. But I'm just like, it takes so much courage to approach someone. Imagine this person looked up to you so much and they go up to you and they get all that courage and all they can think to say, because they don't want to take any of your time or they don't want to assume that you want to have a conversation. I would never go to a famous person and be like, hey, do you have 10 minutes to chat? Like, that would just never happen. because I want to respect your time. If I'm going up to you and asking for a photo, it's because I really, really, really am so excited to be seeing you that I want a picture. Now, some people I know, it's not the same way, and they would, you know, like I get that it can be violating. I'm not saying it's not, but I do just think.
But it makes me think of that Taylor Swift quote where she says, I used to dream for that, like of this.
I've only ever wanted one thing, and now I got it.
And I
might get tired, but I'm never going to be tired of it.
That's quote what she says. Is like, and then you see the way that she interacts with like.
Oh my God.
People, it's just like she is and she does both. She has a conversation with people, and she takes pictures, and she does whatever and she also like she honestly, in another life, she was either an elementary school teacher or a Disney princess, because when you see the video of that little girl run up to her and hug her, and Taylor doesn't let go until the little girl lets go.
The huge hug she gives her, like and then when the girl puts her on, she's just like, oh, I want to take a picture.
She's taking her hair, she's touching Taylor's hair.
It's so sweet. And the thing is, I think Taylor understands, and I think there's a level of gratefulness with Taylor because she's been as lucky as she has been, right? Like, she is the richest, the most famous, all of these things. Like, she gets it, you know? And I will say this, like, every other star, they haven't had the same experience as her. So I'm not saying that they should be as kind and welcoming and whatever to everyone. Like, I believe that, you know, Taylor Swift has had years and years and years to get to a point where she also, her first years of meeting fans weren't like videotaped and published everywhere right away. So if there are bad moments, I remember we don't know.
One of her first things she did was like a 13-hour meet and greet marathon at Bridgestone.
Oh my God.
She met every single person that was in line and had a conversation with them.
And it's like, I will just say that is why she has what she has. Like, and everyone doesn't have to do it.
For her, it's part of the business model. That's who she is. And not everybody wants to be that. Not everybody needs to be that. And also, like, she also, I think, is at a level where she's almost so famous that she doesn't have to do that all the time, because she is able to get out of the situations where she would be running into people. And she has security detail that can clear the path to the restaurant. She doesn't have to like, I'm sure with Doja Cat, it's like with Doja Cat, it's like she's not quite at that level in a way where she's more accessible to fans. So I can, and same with Chappell Roan, the frequency that fans might come up to them might actually be more than someone like Taylor Swift. And like, when you see videos of Taylor at the hospital, it's like she carved her day out to go meet these people. So I understand the difference in that way, but I do just, it is interesting to, and like with Sarah, it's like, take the fucking picture, Sarah Jessica Parker.
But it's also like, that's why Taylor's fans are so loyal, and they're so like, they feel so close to her because of that. Like, she made it that way, and she's been doing it for years. And I think you make a really good point where like, she's kind of on this like untouchable level where like, it's just not the same. But that's almost when you expect those people to be rude. And so, I mean, I guess, look, I know, I'll tell you right now, if I were Taylor Swift level famous, I would not be doing 13-hour meet and greets. I just wouldn't. Like,
well, she wasn't Taylor Swift level famous when she did that, but
well, even if I wasn't, like, I'm not famous at all. And if there were, I mean, like, it just is a lot
for people like Taylor and Beyonce. I think that, because when you see videos of Beyonce's always so gracious and like, but I think that they can temper those experiences in a way that not every artist can yet. Right.
It's a really good point. So I think like, yeah, there are a lot of different angles to look at it, but like for someone like Sarah Jessica Parker, it's such a like where it's like, okay, well, I don't love the idea of, I really don't like when artists speak about it in a way, and this was my issue with Chappell Roan speaking about it, because it's giving I don't owe the fans anything. Exactly.
And yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
And Taylor Swift, say what you will about her, she has always recognized that fact.
Right. And it doesn't mean every single time you have to be ready to give the fans whatever they want, and it doesn't mean they're not entitled to everything.
Exactly,
you know? But you do. There's a give and take, and it's something that we talk about a lot in theater, like with the audience. Like, it's an exchange. Like, the people on stage are giving you a show, right? We're doing this, and the people in the audience are they're giving you their money and their time and their attention, and like, it's an exchange. Both parties are expected to give and take something, and it's the same thing for famous people, you know. So like, that is. And I think that like the people who are the best at being famous and really good at being famous, they really understand that in order to be able to take and in order to be able to have the bad days, you have to give. And it's not just I'm giving you music. It's you've created a whole experience and a whole persona. And unfortunately, you've taught people what to kind of expect. But like that doesn't mean that you're always that person. It doesn't mean you always owe them that person, but it's like sometimes you will have to. Like that's just part of it.
It's such an interesting conversation, and I'm sure we've said a trillion things that people will disagree with and hate.
Yeah. But that's okay. Okay. I watched the Sherry Papini doc.
I don't know who this is. You keep saying it. Where even is it?
Okay, it's new. It's on HBO. It's on Max, and she was
which
just
is going back
Files.
to HBO Max. Everybody, just so we're all aware.
I'm thrilled.
They heard our
which
critiques.
is like okay, all of that.
They heard our notes. No, literally, so funny. It's giving.
Sherry Papini is the real life Gone Girl, and she's been in jail for a while, I guess. And her husband like put out a doc about it and whatever, and like this is the first time that she is like speaking.
Oh my God, Miles just found my Gillian Flynn books.
Oh, well
I gave them to him probably 6 years ago. I don't know how long ago.
To know you got,
a long fucking. He brought them to camp, and he said, "I think I left them there." I had like written in these books. I was like, "Oh,
Jesus."
You
okay, guys, go to that camp, find those books. They have ancient relics.
Nobody found them. He was like, "Sorry, I lied." I was like, "Okay, well, I want them back."
Yeah, give them back. They're big books. They're expensive. No, this girl is the real life Gone Girl, basically. And I was not familiar with her either, but I saw that she went on the Vial Files, and I was like not interested. And I was listening to like another Vial Files episode with I think Bella or something from Love Island. Like I just was curious. And at the beginning of it, they're like, "Oh, you guys should go listen to our Sherry Papini episode." Really weird vibe in the room, and Natalie's like, "Yeah, Nick's definitely bad cop. I'm definitely good cop." It's like
hey Natalie,
weird,
we knew that.
Yeah, hey, we knew. But they're like saying that it's like a weird energy. She was weird, like all
Is
this
she
stuff,
out of
and
jail?
I'm like, yeah. And so now I'm like, okay, now I want to like know what this is about.
Sorry, a
like,
Gone Girl level crime to me gives life in prison.
Well, listen, I mean, it's crazy because she's still saying that some of this is true. And I want you guys all to go watch this, okay? So it's on Max. It's called like the Sherry Papini story or something. And she is in it. And the first thing that I noticed about this girl is like she is the most narcissistic, which like you would have to be. But the way that she's obsessed with the fact that like she's on camera, it's immediately palpable that she is like so excited to be a part of this. And here's what happened. One morning, she's married. She's got 2 kids. One morning, she goes out for a run and never comes home. And she is returned, comes back home 22 days later on Thanksgiving. And she's got like bruises. She's been branded. The back of her has been branded. She's been tied up. She's malnourished. Like lots of things are going on. Okay. And she like stumbles back into town. Like she was just like left on the side of the road.
Literally like on girl. That's crazy.
And they find her. They're also happy to have her back, whatever. And so she says that 2 Hispanic women abducted her while she was running. And
that's evil.
She does a police sketch of these 2 Hispanic women. This is her story, but she's got really bad PTSD and she like can't remember where she was. She says she was blindfolded most of the time. So they found her phone with her like earbuds, and her hair was like in the earbuds. And so she told her husband that she like purposely ripped out her hair and left the phone and the earbuds there so that he would be able to find her, like so that he would know where she was taken, whatever. But then she tells the police that she was so stunned, she's like dropped her phone and that she didn't. And like she said in a text to her husband, like, "I knew you'd find it. Like I ripped my hair out. I did that." So that kind of like tipped them off to some like weirdness. They bring in the FBI, whatever. We end up finding out she was at her ex-boyfriend's house for the 22 days, but she still says he abducted her. Like she's like, well, no. And so everyone's like, so what about the 2 Hispanic women? Like,
well, that was just a lie.
People don't exist. So she's like, well,
wait, what did Casey Anthony call her nanny?
Zanny
the nanny.
Yeah. So she's like, well, I was trying to lead you to James, her ex-boyfriend, because I basically described James's mother, who is Hispanic. And so I was trying to just give you guys clues because James told me he was going to be watching and that like if I said anything that like he would torture me or he'd do whatever. So I was covering that up. I was protecting that because I was afraid of what was going to happen. And I was having an emotional affair and my husband was really abusive. So I didn't want him to find out that I was having this emotional affair with James and all this stuff. And so then we come to find out, like in the documentary, the people are like, so we talked to James's mom, and Sherry's like, okay. And they're like, she's Irish. She's not Hispanic. And Sherry's like, oh, anyway, like, she's just like, that doesn't really matter. Like, I was trying to lead them to James. So that was obviously a big thing. And she goes on the Vial Files and they're like, so do you understand like the impact and like the pain that you caused by saying they were Hispanic? Women? Literally. And like the number of women who were then like questioned and like brought in.
And even just
like,
the community
the stereotype and like
of like
absolutely
now
like,
every Hispanic woman has a target on their back in this community.
Yes, absolutely.
For no fucking reason.
So she just like still does not seem to get it. And
she's out of prison.
Dude, yeah. So she gets away with it for like 5 years.
Holy shit.
People believe her. And then I can't fucking remember. Oh, they found DNA on her underwear and it was her ex-boyfriend's DNA. So they go find him and question him. And he's like, oh yeah, Sherry called me. Like she was just like having some issues with Keith and she just like wanted to get away. So she asked me if I would like pick her up. And like she came and stayed with me and she asked me to do all this weird shit to her. Like she asked me to brand her and she asked me to like tie her up and all this stuff. And Sherry, her like response to that is like, well, if somebody came to you and asked you to brand them, would you do it? No. He's a monster. Like she's trying to make it seem like even if I did ask him, like he's still the bad guy. It still happened to me, like because of whatever. So anyway, in this documentary, she does a lie detector test. And some of the things come back as she's telling the truth and some come back as she's lying. Her ex-boyfriend, the guy who abducted her, takes a lie detector test, passes every single question. And I mean, it's really crazy. So she's out of jail. She's currently fighting for custody of her children.
Oh, great.
And she's like, I should be able to but she's got therapists and stuff. It's like, it's, I guess, a balanced documentary, but she's got therapists who are like, no, she absolutely suffered trauma. Like she did, like for sure. But she just...
Well, I'm sure you did because you were branded. I'm sure. I mean, it is traumatic.
You're obviously a psycho if you're asking somebody to brand you. I don't believe her for a second.
No.
People are really pissed off that she even was allowed to be on the Vial Files. Like, people are like, how dare you? Like, we wanted to hear you rake her across the coals and you didn't. So, like, what was the point of this?
That's Nick's, like, whole thing.
Literally. And Nick kept being like, so I just, like, don't understand, like, why you lied about that. Like, why'd you lie about that? And she's like, well... have you ever lied? And he's like, yeah, I just think it's like a different kind of lie to like lie. And like he kind of does. And then Natalie tries to whatever, but it's contentious. It's a contentious little interview. Yeah. She's a crazy woman. She's just been like, what happened to me? What happened to me was so unfair. I want justice for what happened to me. I can't wait to watch it. Yeah. And it's like, girl, nothing happened to you. None of this had to happen to you.
Yeah.
And it just seems like everything she's saying now, like the issue is you lied for so many years, but now we're supposed to believe this. Mm-hmm. Why do we believe you now? Like, it's not. So anyway, it's really, really, really interesting. And I think she's crazy. And I think you gotta watch it. It's a 4-part series on Max.
4-part series.
Yeah, 4 parts.
So I'm in a watching slump right now.
I want to go back and watch. Well, yeah. So then you'll like this.
Because every time I get into if I ever text you and I am watching Grey's again, it's because I have nothing else to watch. And
yeah, but I do want you to get to that DeLuca moment, so like I'm allowing.
When does Owen fucking leave?
Like never.
Is he still on the show?
I believe Owen Hunt is still on the show.
I can't stand Mr. Jean Valjean.
Okay, let's get into. I know you watched the Alex doc. I didn't finish it yet.
I loved it.
But initial thoughts.
I saw a review for it before I watched it, and they were like, "This isn't a documentary about Alex. It's a documentary about the brand." And I didn't really feel that way. I felt like, I mean, maybe I would have liked a little bit more insight into like, I'm honestly shocked they talked about Sophia as much as they did, but I think I would have liked a little bit more about that and how we actually got to the current Call Her Daddy. But I like her. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
I think she's really likable.
She's really likable.
I think she works really hard. The language, like
Yes.
mom wouldn't be able to watch it, but she'd be like, why does she swear so much? But and she's just so sweet. And like, she goes up to her old apartment where she lived when she like did the first however many years of Call Her Daddy. And she's like knocking on the door, hoping that like someone's there, and no one's there. So they're sitting on the stoop and people are like coming up and asking for pictures. And then these girls are like, we're such big fans, like, but this is our apartment. We're like trying to get up there. And she's like, what apartment do you live in? And they,
oh my God, I have chills.
They are in her apartment. And she's like, oh my God, will you take, they like take her up and show her all this. And they're like, I'm sorry, it's so like dirty and we don't like how it looks. And Alex was like, you literally cannot imagine what this place looked
what it looked like when I lived here.
But like, just,
wait, that's
and
so
Matt,
cute.
I just love how much, I didn't realize how involved Matt was with
I didn't either.
Like, he basically built the tour. And I
loved seeing it.
I was just like, he loves her so much and wants to bolster her up.
The way he protects her and like has her back. Like I'm still watching the first episode, but the part where like she's obviously really frustrated, like the teleprompter isn't working, things aren't working. And he kind of says to everyone like, hey, we all need to, and he's really kind about it. He's like, we all need to, like, this needs to go well, like blah, blah, blah. And she's back there freaking out. And she's just like, if I say like, hey, we all need to like do our jobs well and like whatever, then like I'm just like a bitch, or like I'm like whatever, like but if Matt says it, and it's like that is so true. And it's, although it doesn't have to be that way, like she should be able to say whatever and like not be considered that way. It's just really like special to see that he's able to, like, he fills in the spots that she needs a little extra help. And it's been this one woman show for so long that it's like really amazing to see that she chose the right person to,
and
like,
I love how she
who like believes in her,
and also
doing.
You see all the people around her, like the fact that Lauren, I didn't know Lauren was a producer on the show.
Her like high school friend.
Like,
it's like,
I didn't know all of
I love
this
that
stuff about, and like seeing all the videos of her, and I'm like, wow, like it is crazy because there wasn't a word for what she was going to be doing at that, like when she was doing all that stuff. But she
couldn't have been like, I want to be this.
I want to be a
like,
podcaster. She didn't know what that was. And the fact that they did like a play-by-play remake of The Devil Wears Prada, I'm like, this is precious. And obviously the whole story about her college experience is devastating, but I did love getting to see like her parents talk about her and describe that meeting where Alex, like that seemed like a moment where her mom and her dad were clued into like, Alex is a like that this could like, she's powerful enough in her own right to like stand up and be like, well, what are you going to do about it, to the dean? And like, what, and then I don't know. I walked away from, and also guys, I'm on my period, full disclosure. So I was crying the whole time. Everything made me cry. Everything made me cry.
No, I mean, I love stories about, especially women who like have an idea, have a dream, and have the ambition to follow it and make it happen, mostly by themselves. Like, I think it's really amazing, and I'm not discounting the team that she has now, but like, it's also neat because like, I think to just think about the places that we've recorded and how a podcast starts. And I was just having a conversation with Steven yesterday. He was talking to me about maybe some ideas he might have for a podcast. And he was like, I'd love just like to pick your brain. Like, do you think this has legs? I don't know anything about creating a podcast and like what that entails. And I just want your opinion on all this stuff. And I'm talking about it. And I was like, wow, it's just so funny because no one wants to talk about podcasting unless they're a podcaster. And there's so much that you don't know, and there's so much that we still don't know. But like I was thinking back to when we started, and I was going through sort of like, okay, well, this is what we did when we started, and this is whatever. And to see how far we've come, it really is like amazing. But to think that like this was just really us, like we just really did it all. And obviously I'm not comparing what we're doing to the Unwell Network, but I think it's cool because we can really like feel those beginning where it's like in the apartment and those struggle times and just like making the podcast when it is just you and being able to do it. And she's inspiring for that reason because like it's a woman's story, a woman's voice, and that's all this business was.
Totally.
And enough people bought into it and believed in it, and she believed in it enough and had enough ambition to show that like it's possible to really find your space in the world too. Cause like it's funny, you know, her being like the sporty girl who also probably really would have been into theater. And I don't know if they get into that. Was she in theater at all?
No, but she talks about how lame she was. Like, you look at Alex Cooper now and you're like, low-key, that girl would have been mean to me in high school. And then you see these videos of her and it's like, no, she was getting bullied in high school. She was also a natural redhead.
I love it. But like, I was just like looking and like the videos she was making, and I think about her because I think about our childhoods and the number of videos that we were making just like that and those kind of things.
And honestly, hey Alex, so brave for you. So brave for you to put those in the documentary, because mine won't be seeing the light of day.
So brave. But I just was like, I knew that like theater was a place where I could go and like do that, and that's what I could say I wanted to do, and that made sense. And it's like, it makes me think about someone like her who she's in this world of sports, but it's like
very Troy Bolton.
Yes, very. But she'd never explored the theater piece. So I'm sure when it's like, well, what are you going to do with this part of you? She really didn't have a word for it, and she really didn't know. And so it's just like, she didn't have that immediate, oh, well, I'll go do this. And she really had to kind of create it out of nothing. And it's really amazing what she's been able to do here. And I just think like
I loved this one quote
so
she said. She was at the end of the documentary. She's getting interviewed by the Wall Street Journal, maybe when she did the Sirius deal, or maybe the New York Times. And they're like, you're at one point, at like a certain point, you're going to become the successor to Howard Stern. And she goes, I don't know why people have to keep telling me I'm the next this man, or I'm comparing me to these guys. I'm Alex Cooper. Like, I'm my own thing.
Love.
And it is true. Like, I mean, but even though I understand, obviously, because that is kind of the role she'll fill. Like, I think she will turn into Howard Stern, but like, she's created this whole different thing that's different than anything Howard Stern could do.
Right.
So I just...
And it's not like, and to be honest, it's not like Howard Stern... You know, we talk about women sort of paving the way for each other. We couldn't say Howard Stern paved the way for Alex Cooper. Like, so it's like she is forging the way and did this herself. So she's not in a way, yeah, but she's really not the next Howard Stern, because it's like, it's not like there was a path laid out for her.
And also, the way that people discuss...
For women.
We've talked about this before, the way that people discuss her interviewing style and how they don't like that it's like, they feel like it's too surface level and all this stuff. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, I do think you have to look at like the Rolodex of people who have been interviewed by her and have thoroughly enjoyed it. She has a talent for making people feel comfortable in a space.
She matches their energy.
And I think I just get annoyed when people criticize that aspect of things.
I mean, and I've definitely criticized that aspect of her. But I think one of the things too is sometimes... like, you're the interviewer, you're in control, but you're really not.
Especially when you're Alex Cooper interviewing like Jane Fonda. It's like,
so let's say Alex Cooper's having a conversation with Jane Fonda, but Jane Fonda's too seasoned for like what I'm trying to say, like someone new. Let's just say it's someone new, like whatever.
Chapel.
Sure, Chapel, yeah. And she comes on, and Alex is trying to talk to her the way, like, she can't approach that conversation the way she would approach it with somebody else, right? And so I think there's also a superpower in being able to read that room and say like, well, I might have wanted to ask these other questions, but I can tell right now that's not how this interview is going. So I need to leave it kind of open and follow this person's lead rather than saying, well, this is the interview I planned on doing and this is what I want to put out there. Like, I think there's something nice about her not forcing her guests into such an uncomfortable position if it's
such a skill. It's such an underappreciated skill, and you can tell when people the discourse on it.
And women are better at it than men.
Like, she has to be dynamic, and I think that the Kamala interview is such an important, like, that's an example of that, because you get to see a little bit more of like what it took to get that going in the documentary.
Oh wow.
And
yay.
Kamala was so sweet at the end. She's getting her team's like trying to get her out of the room, and she turns and she goes, I just want to say what you're doing is so powerful and important and community, like the fact that you're building this community and all this stuff. And it was just and then there's this moment where it kind of gives you, Kelly and Anthony, they're like leaving the studio after they finish this interview, and Lauren's in the middle, Alex is on the right, and Matt's on the left, and Matt like puts his arm around Lauren and then like grabs Alex's like shoulder and like scratches it, and they're like, it's like the three of them walking towards the car. Like, it was just so sweet. And I just think that I love when you see powerful people like her having that kind of normal kind of community around her. She's not like suddenly surrounded by like all these influencers and stars when you know she could be. She like still just has her people. And I think it's so cute.
Totally. Should we talk about the Traitors cast?
Guys,
I'm a little underwhelmed.
I'm actually, here's the thing, I'm not underwhelmed. I would be
Okay.
raving about this cast if it weren't for a couple people that I just cannot believe we're going to have to see on our television. Number one is obviously Michael Rappaport. I don't even really want to talk about him. I think it's pretty gross. He's clearly just like in bed with Peacock and NBC and Bravo and Andy. I get it.
Well, and they do like to have controversial.
Yeah. And I'm sure
there.
like he might be good to stir some stuff up, but I'm just not really interested in the kind of drama I think he'll bring.
Well, I just don't really want to give him a platform.
Exactly.
Is the main thing. Like, I don't want him to get more attention because he's on this amazing show. This show's a privilege.
And that's how I feel also about Colton. I don't know why we are. I'm not.
Everyone's forgotten.
I'm not okay with that. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want that story necessarily to be highlighted as like a great queer story. It's because that's not how queer people act. Like
it's also like he kind of frames it as like his comeback story. Like he's like, okay, yeah, I was disgraced. I like stalked and harassed my ex and made her life hell and all these things.
I put a tracking device on her car and like would stand outside of her window in the middle of the night.
And it was all because I was struggling with who I am, and now I'm gay and I'm happy.
It's like, Colton, and it's like, if you hadn't done all the stuff that you like was illegal, this could be your comeback story. If you had,
no one gives a fuck if you were just like on The Bachelor, like, and you were The Bachelor and now you're gay.
If you had gone to Cassie, I understand him wanting to really communicate to people the burden that had on. Clearly, it was like a burden that not every person has experienced, but not every person does what you do. But what I'm saying is, if you had just gone to Cassie and told her the truth and not been forced into it in this way, then it would have been a comeback story. Then we would have said, wow, Colton, good for you. And Colton, you have a really important story. It is important to talk about what it's like to grow up in those communities and to be so like positive that this thing is going to ruin your life. Like that when you watch his show on Netflix, which I hate to say it, I did, that would be such an important thing to highlight and to shed light on, because it's not the irreparable damage that is done to people in those communities because of the rhetoric that's used is not talked about a lot, because people don't want to talk. Like, it is talked about, but I feel like people discount the Christian aspect of things sometimes, like, because it feels like there's such a gap between them. Like, they don't want to have to talk about it. Maybe I don't think I'm articulating any of this very well, but I just think it was a missed opportunity, because there were kids who would see themselves in Colton and be like, well, there's number one, a way out. And number two, maybe it would be a moment for people to look in the mirror and say, oh my God, we can drive people to do some pretty terrible things.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, I mean, his story of just being so, as you said, terrified of what would happen if people found out who he really was and if he got to live his truth. And I think, like, not only does he have a really powerful and impactful story, but he also has a really interesting story. You know, you literally were The Bachelor. Like, that's how far you were pushed into that world, and how much you were willing to commit to that. But unfortunately, like, what I feel like we see instead is you kind of used Cassie as like this emblem of like, she's my way out. She's going to fix all my problems. And we saw that with the fence.
When he thought she was going to walk away from it, he thought that his life was over.
Right. And he's like, this is my, and it's like, it wasn't because, and it was, I'm sorry, like, more of a selfish thing. It wasn't because you like loved her so much. It was because you were going to put all of this on her to like she was going to be the reason that it was going to be okay. It's too much pressure for anybody, including you, Colton. Like, I'm not saying that it's fair that you were having to burden that, but to knowingly put that on somebody else and then abuse that relationship and the kindness of that person in such a public way, knowing what you know, but like putting the tracker, like things like that, like the fear, think about the fear that you caused this woman and the public scrutiny that she had to live through because she didn't want to be with you anymore. When you knew this, and the thing is, I'm pretty sure now that I'm thinking back on it, he had told her and she didn't say anything about it. And he allowed the public to like rip her to shreds for leaving him before all of this stuff came out.
I really also have an issue with like, you now want to be this emblem of the community and this like pillar and this guy who's this example of how things can get better and you can turn your life around. But you used this community as a scapegoat to get you out of trouble, or so you thought. When people were upset with you for breaking the law and harassing your ex-girlfriend, you said, I know that sucks. I wish I hadn't done that, but I'm gay. So that's why I did it. I know it's not the same level of things, but it's like what Kevin Spacey did. When he was in trouble for everything that he did, he said, well, I was struggling with my sexuality. So isn't that a pass?
Hey, that actually makes it so much harder for the queer community.
Exactly.
FYI. Like, that is perpetuating any like homophobic rhetoric where people are like, oh, gay people are dangerous. Like, you two, Kevin Spacey and Colton Underwood, you're two people who in using the gay community as your way out have now like added to that narrative for them. That like, yes, we were closeted and so we hurt and abused other people. That's not what the majority of closeted people do. I'll tell you that.
Most people don't have to.
I've dated many closeted people and the worst thing they did to me was break up with me. And you know what? Yeah, that was pretty terrible. But we move on and we forgive. I just think in order to actually be this, because Colton, you could still be this figure in the queer community that you want to be, but in order to actually do that, you have to acknowledge your past and your wrongdoings.
And I just don't know that he really has.
And apologize for them, and don't
bring up the fact that you were gay.
Don't bring anything else into the conversation. Just say like, you know what? It doesn't really matter if you're gay or straight. It does not matter.
Yeah,
this wasn't okay.
Because then we get into that.
What I did.
I do like, it is like, when can we move on from it? And I guess that would be it. Once he really acknowledged it. And I know that he has, but I just don't feel like it's been enough.
Men will do anything to not take accountability. I mean, they will do anything. It is astounding. Like, they would rather jump in hot lava than have to say, you know what, you might be right.
If he were able to do that and then pivot into like motivational speaking of sorts, where he's like, look, this was my rock bottom and I don't want this to happen to anybody else. I don't want I don't want there to be, and I also don't want there to be other girls or other men who are subject to bad behavior because people are struggling so much internally.
Right.
He could turn it around, but I just think there needs to be a little bit more accountability. I feel like I agree. He said he was sorry, he came out, and then coming out Colton, whatever the fuck it's called, happened, and like we were all supposed to forget about it. And I haven't. And now he's on Traitors.
No.
But
no, I'm not forgotten.
Let's,
but I,
in a moment of levity, my girls,
Donna Kelsey.
Oh,
Donna Kelsey.
Not Miss Kelsey. I think.
Okay, who were you gonna say? I mean, I just do think it's so funny, and I'm actually like, did we think this through about Donna Kelsey being in that castle? I am like,
I fear, what? I'm not sure how likable she's gonna be.
I'm worried for it, and I'm like, they're all calling her Mama Kelsey, I guess.
But I loved her picture. Her picture was so funny. Her little pose. I am like, okay, wait, we need Mom in the castle.
I feel like it. No, I know, and that's where I do feel like
maybe she will just be goofy.
She's incapable of like putting on a rehearsed performance. Like, we're gonna get the true,
it's the closest
real mom energy that castle needs.
It's the closest we're gonna get to having like a normie in the castle again.
Absolutely.
Because she is,
even though she's also like somehow the farthest thing from a normie. She's the least normal person there. She's like 1 degree of separation away from Taylor.
I love the idea of Taylor like logging into Peacock on like her 7 homes across the world.
I know. Wait, did you see that Donna's wearing the Tortured Poets Department bracelet?
I'm like, okay.
So enough with the rumors.
It is so funny that like to think about what the album's about.
I'm like, you weren't listening to those songs though, right? You just have the bracelet.
You don't know about Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yeah, right? Promise me you don't know about Grand Theft Auto. Promise me.
My girls I'm excited about are Miss Renna. She's gonna kill. She's gonna
Miss Renna and Mr. Rinda bringing her back.
Alan and Andy were like, we fucked up. We need to actually show everybody some supercuts of the Housewives before the seasons now. And here's one thing I will say, and I'm not happy. Again, he should not be on the show. I don't want to platform him, but
Michael Rappaport understands
his acumen
that Dorinda has to stay.
He knows the Housewives in like the back of his hand. And I only know that because of Watch What Happens.
Just hope
he's always on. And I think that because if he had been on there last season, I think he would have said, let's keep Dorinda around for a second.
Yeah. Well, what I hope is that he doesn't like win the allegiance of the housewives.
I also hope he doesn't outshine anybody because he's such a loud fucking
he might
personality.
get out real quick. He might get voted out real quick. I hope they don't make him a traitor.
I'll be pissed. That's too much screen time.
That would be terrible. I wonder if they're just going to go ahead and make Dorinda a traitor. But it's going to bring up this interesting question where everyone's going to be like, well, she was on it last season. She got out first. People didn't like that. So would they just make her a traitor so that she doesn't get out? And then they vote her out anyway? Like, I'm like, I wonder. She's got to play this very carefully. I wonder if the production's like, she stays 3 episodes. Let's get that all clear. Dorinda doesn't leave before episode 3.
We can't have the backlash again.
There's no killing her. She has to be eliminated at a round table. Like, I think it just has to be like they need to have rules in place for Dorinda.
I love her. I'm so I need her,
but I also love that she was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll go back."
I need her drunk. I need her drunk walking around that castle, and I need Lisa on an elevated surface dancing.
Well, and I have no doubt she will be.
I am also. I called Maura Healey.
Oh, you did. Higgins, though.
Maura Healey is a congresswoman. Yes. Or a governor or something.
Could you imagine? I can't believe we also have Rob.
Pouty
Love
boy
Island
Rob
is crazy. And let me tell you, who's going to absolutely go feral for Rob is the housewives. They are going to be like, Rob, no, you come sit with us. You come sit with mommy Rinna. Come sit on my lap.
Oh my God, the Rinna girls. The Rinna girls are going to be mortified.
But Rob is such a, like, he pissed me off so much in Love Island because he's so, like, man know-it-all vibes. Like, he gives Peter Weber a little bit. I feel like he's going to have, like, you guys don't listen to me, you're fucking stupid. Like, he's going to have that energy, which, like, I'm not going to love, but he is hot, so I'm excited. But I do love Maura Higgins. So, Monet Exchange, one of my favorite drag queens. Absolutely.
Me too.
Ever.
She's one of my all-time faves.
And I think that, like, she's going to learn from her sister, from Bob. Like, she's going to be like, she's not going to go too hard too fast.
I hope she binged some Housewives before she came, too.
Me too. Well, I think Monet is up to date. Monet is in that world.
That was one thing about Bob. I was like, Bob,
yeah.
I know you're in and around conversations about these girls.
Here's the thing about Bob. I think Bob's a little too jaded. Bob is a little bit too, I've been in the game for this long. Whereas Monet is a little bit newer on the scene. Like, she's obviously not a newcomer, but I think she's not gonna come in here and be like, I'm running the show no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I feel like Bob had a little bit of that.
For sure.
Portia, I absolutely can't wait. We are going to get the funniest shit. And if they don't make Portia a traitor, they could have a similar kind of Phaedra traitor vibe. If they
and I am
know what's good for them, they will
like,
make Portia a traitor.
Anytime they want to bring Phaedra back, they do it. The second Phaedra says I want to be back in that castle,
I know
she's
they
there.
love having Kate Chastain there, but like I'm fine if we swap Kate for Phaedra though.
I can't wait till we have enough seasons to do All Stars.
Oh my God.
Because they're gonna have to.
Oh, they're going to have to. I don't actually know the Big Brother contestants who are going on, so sorry.
Those are the
we
main
have Mark
names
Ballas from Dancing with the Stars from like whatever.
Not a clue.
Who else?
I didn't really recognize anybody
Kristen
else
Kish
crazy.
from Top Chef. I don't watch. We've got 3 Survivor players. Rob Sesternino. People seem very upset that he's on the cast. I don't know anything about him. Yam Yam Arocho and Natalie Anderson, also from The Amazing Race.
I do just want to speak to the drama before the day before this was released when one of these Twitter people were like talking about how upset people were going to be, and they were talking about Michael Rappaport, but everybody was, for some reason, convinced it was going to be Casey Anthony.
Which is, I'm sorry. And I said to Phoebe, okay, Traitors All Stars. Let's get Sherry Papini, now that you know who it is. Sherry Papini, Casey Anthony, Jodi Arias. Let's go. Actually, that's Nightmare Blunt rotation or Dream, depending on who you are. Depending on the kind of people you like to kick it with.
Jesus Christ. Thankfully.
Imagine the crash out you would have if you smoked pot with Sherry Papini, Casey Anthony, and Jodi Arias.
I don't want to think about it.
I do. I want to think about it. The crash out I would have would be biblical.
Oh my God. I'd end up dead. That's for sure. That seems like a pretty high probability.
Well, of course. Of course you would end up dead. I mean, you would not know who to freaking trust.
Who do you like on Next Gen?
Okay. Who do I like? I like Ariana.
Mm-hmm.
She is my favorite. Brooks is my other favorite.
I love him.
I love him. I want to give him a hug. I want to protect him. He's a sweet baby angel.
I am like shocked at how much they're always on Salt Lake. It kind of has the dynamic of like when we're in the kitchen with mom and mom is the butt of every joke. You know what I mean? So I
loved seeing him with his mom.
We haven't seen this side of Brooks. I didn't finish episode 2 yet, but I like seeing the side of Brooks where he's so protective of Chloe.
I love it.
I wasn't necessarily expecting this.
As he should be.
That's so gross. That man is disgusting.
Hate Charlie on Next Gen. If you're not watching Next Gen, by the way, you need to. Like,
yeah,
we're gonna be watching.
Me and Caroline are a good gauge. Just ask Mimi, because Mimi said she didn't think she wanted to watch Winter House, and then she saw that trailer and she was like, maybe we should have watched this. And I was like, yeah.
Well, just listen to us and watch what we tell you to watch, because at least here in our cohort, the cohort of the Road Warriors, it's important to know. Okay, but
oh my god, love. Okay, because of Connell University. Speaking of which, Gaga drinking out of that is the cutest thing ever.
Oh, and him having our article out. Oh my god, stop.
Oh my god, so cute. But that's another fan sector, the cohort.
If you're in the cohort, you need to be watching what we're watching.
Oh my god, that's a tier on the Patreon.
It's gotta be. Writing it. I'll be writing it down in the air. I'll
write it down physically.
I love the relationship between Brooks and Chloe. I love the protection, because you know what? Charlie is like a real life Chuck Bass. This show really feels like if Gossip Girl was a reality television show. That's part of the reason Taylor didn't want to watch it. She was like, it's giving the Gossip Girl reboot. And I was like, I know, but if it was good. Real.
And it's real. And these are real people.
It's real. And these people, like when you hear about who their parents are, you're gonna be like, holy fuck.
How did you feel about the hand washing debacle?
Georgia. Here's what I think about Georgia. I think Georgia is like the final boss pick me. Okay. Georgia from New York. First of all, no one who like really is born and bred, bleeds New York, is talking about being born and bred and bleeding New York as much as Georgia is. Okay. I get it. How many times do I have to hear you when Brooke says when you think of New York, you think of Georgia? I'm like, that's only because Georgia makes sure of it. Georgia's like, and by the way, I was freaking raised in Brooklyn, playing in the grass, with getting my hands dirty, licking them in New York, riding the subway all day long. Like that's like the vibe she has. Her brushing her hair with a fork. I'm like, hey, you knew you were being filmed. I know you have a brush. This is ridiculous.
I am a little confused.
You're not the Little Mermaid.
By where Ariana's accent comes from. Because she does
seem to have a New York
She's
accent.
like a New Yorker. She gives New
from
York.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
I know.
Very
she very much gives New York. No, and then the hand washing. I think it's disgusting. I think if you're living in New York City, you should be washing your hands every chance you get. Like every chance you get. Because, and let me tell you, those chances aren't enough. Like, you're still going to be needing more, so you have to have hand sanitizer. The fact that she says she doesn't believe in it.
It's the first time you're meeting all these people, and you go in the bathroom, and like,
before that, you touch the bottom of someone's shoe who's been walking down the streets of New York, and then you touch your eye immediately after, and then you go in the bathroom with people who can see you, and you choose not to wash your hands in front of them. And then you double down when they ask you about it? Are you insane?
That's what I'm saying. Even if you're someone who doesn't wash your hands, hey, wash your hands.
Pretend.
But at least like when you're in the bathroom, surely you wash the hands if there's people around you.
And God forbid someone says, are you not going to wash your hands? Then you don't leave until it's done. Exactly. Then you don't leave until you've washed them twice.
So crazy.
Everyone also was already thinking you were gross for touching the shoe. They already were like, you should have gone in the bathroom and washed your hands then. You shouldn't have then like gone to the bathroom. I can't. So don't love Georgia. And I know you didn't finish the second episode yet, but did you see them at the club with Charlie? And the first time that he meets Ariana.
Oh, well, I've seen the clip of when they start getting in that fight.
He is the biggest asshole. It's as if his vibe is like he heard about Ariana. He heard about her mom. He feels a little bit intimidated by the idea that everybody knows who she is. She's got friends. She's established in the Bravo world. And he wants to, like, basically, I don't know. He wants to intimidate her. She comes in and he's immediately just like barely says anything to her. And this was the worst part. Somebody brings up the hand washing. At this point, everyone's told Ariana about Georgia not washing her hands, okay? So she's talking to someone and like they bring it up somehow. George is there and Ariana's like, oh yeah, the hand washing. Charlie goes, you don't even know what we're talking about. That actually...
It's so childish.
It provokes my fight or flight. That's
like so middle
When I
school.
hear that a man says, you don't even know what we're talking about. Like, no, exactly, Phoebe. I immediately was harkened back to so many times when like you're in a group of girls and they're talking about an inside joke and you laugh and they're like, you don't know what we're laughing about. And you're like, I've never wanted to disappear into the floor more than I do right now. He did that to her first thing when she walked in.
Oh my God.
And you're an adult. And so like that was the first thing. And there are other things where he's just like laughing at her and he's like, you sound so stupid. Like he's like actually being so nasty. They go outside and he's so disrespectful, so rude. He's talking shit on her to other people. Like I was genuinely so disturbed. If I had to be around this man, it would have gotten physical. It would have come to physical blows. Like I wouldn't have been able to stand around him. And I don't know how she did either.
I know that he needs to be on the show, but he's my least favorite. I really like everybody else though.
Yeah. I'm really loving the show. I think it's great drama so far. It's like just the right amount. None of these people feel like they're trying to be stars or they're trying to be Bravo stars, which I think is like they feel different than what we typically see. And I'm really enjoying it. I think this was a really smart move for the Bravo franchise.
Did you see that Paige said she would be like open? She was like, we're the last to know anything, but like, she's not leaving Summer House because she wants to be done with reality TV. Like it's not, which is normally what it is. She's like, I'm done with Summer House, but if they want me back for something else, I'm down, which I love.
Have you seen the pushback on Daphne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way people are going so hard on it, I'm a little bit like, okay, like,
I know.
Who cares?
Yeah. I was like, are we surprised? Because the thing is, Paige released her PJ line, which they're saying, you know, it's PJs you can wear out. It's for the girl who wants to go in a Zoom call in her PJs,
and people
whatever.
Being confused by that business choice, to me, I'm like, I know that her thing is like fashion, like she's a fashion girl, but she also is like in the bed. Like that's.
Well, I think that's what she's trying to explain though, is like these pieces were created
for both.
They weren't. It's not Alibaba. It's not a fast fashion kind of thing. She was like actually choosing the like stitch design. Like she was literally part of all that. It's 100% cotton. People aren't happy with the price point, which I do agree. Like to get a set, if you wanted a matching set, it's over $200, which I do think like Paige's thing used to be that she was like a budget queen.
Yeah, I do remember
that. She would always be like, I'm going to find you the budget. So that I think was upsetting to some people, especially because a lot of them are like see-through, which if you live in New York, that's the vibe. I think Paige wanted them to look that way. But like the regular Jane can't go on her Zoom call in a see-through white tank. Like that's not. And also people are upset about the sizes. It only goes up to XL, which I do feel like in the year 2025 is
at least
like
double X.
And like I do feel like there's no way nobody in that room had the foresight to say we should at least go to a double X. Like we don't have to go full plus yet because it's her first time doing it. Like see how it goes. But I just do feel like if you had the double XL options, you would have sold out of them too. So I don't know why you just didn't.
Yeah.
And then it pisses me off when I see people like, well, it costs more money to make bigger clothes. I'm like, oh my God, enough of that. It doesn't cost that much. It doesn't cost
enough that it needs to cost more, like to buy it.
And like, sorry, but I'm sure there are people who would have paid an upcharge. They would have been annoyed about it. But like, if the size was available and it was like,
but also
okay,
like, that just is stupid.
Anyway, I the only thing I actually would have purchased from that line was the Hannah tee because I do love just like a big getting ready tee.
Is that the one that says Daphne on the collar?
Yeah,
I like that shirt. I think that's kind of cute.
And it's just like an oversized shirt.
And I think Daphne sounds so chic.
It does, totally. I love it. I think it's very Paige. I think it's not the last we're going to see of her doing this. I hope that she takes what she hears and moves forward the right way. And I feel that she will. She has responded to
a couple comments where I'm just like, maybe I'm like, leave it to the team.
She's like, they're actually not $200. And it's like, actually, yes, they are. If you want a full set, which who's just going and buying the pants? Like, it's because these aren't like cute sweatpants or it's like they're meant to be worn as an outfit. It doesn't, so anyway. Well, let's talk about Love Island.
Guys, this cast is so fucking unlikable.
Yes, but like it doesn't.
It's great
by the way,
TV,
Phoebe saying that, we don't mean that the show was unlikable.
I'm saying that lovingly in a way that it's
so
good.
Hot. Yeah. I want to know, like, what would it take for you to go on this show?
$1 million.
That's it?
Plus the prize if I win.
I would have to actually be told that there was a consequence of public execution. That's the only way you're getting
be like the
me
Hunger
on that
Games.
show. You'd have to say if you don't, you can either walk the plank in Fiji and be eaten by the fishes, or you can go on Love Island. Those are the only two options you have. Then I still might choose walking the plank. I mean, I would rather be shot in the head than fucking go on this show. I can't believe they can find people who have high enough confidence. Imagine the self-esteem and the confidence that you have to go on the show. You're in your bathing suit the whole time. Some of the stuff they do, I'm like, aren't you like, don't you need to like, okay, all right, I'm just going to speak candidly. You're in fucking Fiji. I know it's hot as fuck. I know you guys aren't all smelling great. Like, and your shit's just out there. And you're like sitting cross-legged with like guys and all of your shit is out and you're sweating in Fiji and you're all putting your tongues on each other's like it's gross. I'm sorry.
That's how you know.
I love it.
That's how you know Caroline's frontal lobe is completely developed because that's the thought process she has.
Because I'm just like, I mean, they can't get anyone over the age of 30. I'm certain on this show. No one who's thinking with their entire brain is going on this fucking show, unless they're a man. Probably
it's wild. It's a wild fucking show.
So much easier for men. No, I can't even like begin. The challenge they had, what was it called? Like the leather and lace or whatever. First of all, I'm also like these men. The fact that they're getting these men to dress up in these outfits is kind of hilarious.
Dude, I know. The outfits were crazy. And
yeah,
they kind of loved them. The guys. Like they were into it.
Yes, I know. The turning around and having the different people kissing them. First of all, it's just like, I would have literally been shitting my pants. Don't have my arms incapacitated. Also, you know their arms were hurting. Did they get any breaks?
I thought about their arms hurting, but what I will say is it didn't look like they were actually tied in.
No, I don't think. I think they were just like resting on the things. But I'm like,
but they made it such a dramatic thing the way that they were like strapped. They were like, let me strap you in. But yeah. It was. But Huda kills me because she can't
her back bend.
Exactly. When Jeremiah has to kiss one girl, he had to hear you kiss two guys.
I know. And the thing is, when the guys come to kiss Huda, she's like, of course. She's like, okay, let's do it. I knew this was going to happen. Where's the line?
After they've fully gone around the whole circle, she's like.
Yeah. She's like, they chose me. I knew they would. Like and then she's like, she wants Jeremiah to hear it. The back bend. And I'm like, so I watched After Sun last night, which I don't know if you watch it. I know some people don't, but I did because I keep thinking to myself, are we ever going to revisit the blindfold challenge? I need Huda. I need the jig to be up on Huda. Okay, I want Jeremiah to find out, but that's too far away because that's after Casa. We don't have time for that. They're not going to make it that long. And I think the producers know that because whatever. So Ariana on After Sun last night brought up that during the blindfold kissing challenge, Nick kissed Alandria and Alandria still doesn't know that he kissed her. And so she's like, I kind of want to see them explore that. And the other host is like, well, nothing ever stays secret in the villa. So I'm like, okay, good. So as long as Ariana didn't forget, then I know we're going to revisit this. And I want us to revisit the blindfold challenge for everybody in the villa. And that is going to be Jeremiah's ticket out. But like, I think they got to push him far enough for a full crash. I mean, it's going to be epic.
They're both going to crash out. And I didn't expect it from Jeremiah until these last couple episodes where he's been acting like such a man-child.
Yes.
I hate when men get in that pouty mood.
I know.
Like when she, and I'm not, I don't like Huda very much, but like when she walks over to him after the guys like said whatever they said to him.
Yeah, don't make me beg you to find out what's wrong.
He shakes her hand and then like goes like this and like doesn't look at her. I'm like, what?
I know.
And we have a lot of powders in this villa actually. I'll talk about this guy in my rotation.
A lot of powders.
Ace. I can't fucking stand him. I think he's actually so mean. The way that he treated Amaya. I know Amaya's crazy. Amaya. She's clearly, but she's kind of hilarious. Like, I love her.
Not kind of. She's fully hilarious.
She walks out to the kitchen in her PJs.
And then about face. No, but she was like, I was like, okay. Here's the one thing about it that I will give to Ace is that like he did make it clear. Like, I don't know why he picked her in the first place. I think that was mean. But I just was like, he did tell you, like he said it like 500 times that he was like not interested. He didn't want to be touched. He doesn't want to like spend time with you. Like he's being mean, but she's not listening. And so she just keeps coming. I'm like, girl, save yourself. Stop it. Like, don't go up to him again because it's gonna make his case stronger that like you are being crazy, which I don't think she is crazy. I would have acted way crazier if somebody treated me the way Ace was treating her for sure. But I also know myself and I know that if I were in that villa, I would be completely sunk for Ace, 100%. that is, yeah. He's got fucking game. He just does. And like his shit with Shelly, like I don't want to be rooting for them because I want the best for Shelly and it's probably not him, but like I can't help it.
That's fair.
But he's game playing. So it's tough because it's like, why did you choose Amaya? You could have just chosen Shelly.
It's really
been doing this.
bizarre.
Like this is a little bit much now. Well, the one thing I think about though is like there needs to be another guy for Huda because as much as I can't fucking stand her, I do need to see what happens. And it can't be the kind of thing where like Jeremiah picks Huda or picks another girl.
And Huda gets sent home.
And then Huda gets sent home. Like I need to see her watch Jeremiah with this other girl. Like I need to see the full torture commence. And we did get to vote. We finally got our first opportunity to vote was on Friday night of the season. And we got to vote on 3 things. You got to vote who you wanted Jeremiah to couple up with, or no, who you wanted Iris to couple up with, and then who you wanted each of the new guy bombshells to couple up with. And I was voting, and I literally said to myself as I was voting that I don't even have to check in on Twitter. I don't even have to check with America. Locked in. We're voting the same way I know it. So I voted for Jeremiah and Iris.
Me too.
And I went on Twitter and you voted?
Yeah, because I wasn't in fucking Manchester, Tennessee anymore.
Oh, I for some reason didn't think you were going to be able to vote. Okay, so yeah, voted for that. And then who did you vote to be with, God, what's his name? Not Pepe. I can't remember his name, but the other blonde shell.
I voted for Andrea.
Me too. He is also, I would be.
Taylor has got some, I didn't realize how scrawny he was. His arms.
Until this guy walked in?
No, but I mean, in this challenge, his arms hanging up. Oh. I was like, whoa.
Taylor, I'm like, I really can't figure out how a goon like you ended up here in Fiji in the villa.
A goon like you.
He's like a goon, you know what I mean? He's just like goofy. Like he's fun to have around for the guys, but like, I don't think he knows where he is. I don't think he's like understands like the game. Okay, and then I voted Hannah and Pepe.
Yeah, me too.
I'm over Charlie. She's way more into Pepe than Charlie, I think.
But I do like Charlie.
You do?
Yeah.
I think he's like the pick me guy. He's like, guys, I'm telling you, bruvs, I'm not sure my connection's here, but I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep trying. Yeah. And everyone's in the room like, yeah, Charlie, like you got this. Like,
I was thinking
all of
his
conversations.
That moment when Austin was doing his yoga and he like says something about one of these moves and Charlie's like asleep in his chair and he sees and hears that one thing and he goes, what the fuck?
You're like, so that one moment for him pretty much sold me. I'm big team Charlie now.
But I'm always surprised when he's more vulgar's the wrong word, but like when he like doesn't look like he would be as like into the dirty stuff as he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then he like gives me the ick. Yeah, because then he talks about it. I'm like,
yeah.
Like you can't be the pick me wholesome. Like I'm not giving up on my connection. And the guy's like, all right, gentlemen, like let's go get our goals. Like, oh yeah, like it's gross.
Fair.
You guys are all disgusting.
They are.
There, I said it. You're all disgusting.
I don't like any of the like last season. I liked the guys for the most part.
Yeah, so in terms of people that I actually like, I think it's so early. Like we forget it's only week 2. So we have got so many more people coming in. So Shelly is my favorite. I love Shelly and Alandria, but Shelly is definitely like my number 1. And then I really like Sierra. And I was looking at her Instagram today. She's got it figured out. I'll tell you that much. Sierra's got Instagram figured out. And I am like, there's no way on earth I could ever recreate any of these. But this is like goals. Like, okay.
And I still am like, what does she see in Nick at all?
I don't know. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. The pimples. The massive fucking pimple. Did you see the drunk drawn portrait of Nick? Where they made the huge, drunk drawn. Love you. You are savage. The Huda pictures. I also, though, as I'm voting for Iris and Jeremiah, I was like, oh, Huda's going to whoop me when she gets out here. Like she's going to get on her phone and be so fucking nasty to America. It's going to rival the Mackenzie Dittman crash out. Remember that?
Who's that?
Did you watch that season with Selly and Johnny? And well, Mackenzie Dittman, she ended up dating Carl Radke for a little bit on Summer House right before he and Lindsay, I believe, like a few seasons ago. She came out to the house. She was in an episode.
Oh, wow.
She's a blonde girl. She got humongous boobs. Sorry, it's like the main thing I know about her because she was on Love Island and she talks about her boob jobs. So that's how I know. She's like really pretty though. And she dated the guy from Pittsburgh who was on Love Island called Connor. That was what he was called. And and then she was like here in Pittsburgh all the time with him. Like he like lived here afterwards. And she flipped the fuck out because America,
It kind of tracks that there are
Pittsburgh people that go on the show.
Because,
100%.
guys, you ever want to know what like going out in Pittsburgh versus going out in Charleston is like?
Go watch Kaylor's episode. Go like watch Kaylor live on TikTok. That's what it's like.
But like these are the kinds of people like Austin. I know he's Florida, but like you would run into Austin on Southside, out in the South Side.
Yeah, we're not making Pittsburgh like look great.
Yeah, okay. I do a lot of good work for Pittsburgh.
Phoebe's like, Pittsburgh's got enough out of me. I think we can all agree that I am a great spokeswoman for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh has got me on lock.
I got my freaking Pittsburgh Pirates hat on right now. How dare you? That's what Phoebe just said. And Phoebe and I, yes, we are going to a Pirates game together in July.
I'm going to as many as I can go on there.
I told Anthony to reach out.
Because
reach out. Reach out to that girl, Phoebe.
Yes, I want a hot dog in my hand.
Hot dog in my hand. All right, it's time for our rotations.
This is a 2-hour episode. Wow.
Well, I'm on Dream.
Yeah.
So I'll start. First up on my Dream rotation is the new Poppy Punch flavor. Oh my God, I freaking love it. It is my new fave. Not only do I love the packaging, but it tastes so freaking good. It really tastes like a fruit punch that's just, I can't explain it, Phoebe. I think you would love it. It's so good. And that's the thing about Poppy. Kelly and I, we really cracked the code with this. If you're not a Poppy drinker, I know Poppy is soda, but I don't like to think about it like soda. Like I'm thinking about Poppy.
They're healthy soda.
Right. But I don't even want to think about it as soda because like my first thing I'm going to reach for is not going to be the cola Poppy. Like because it doesn't taste like a soda. It doesn't taste like a Diet Coke. It doesn't taste like that. But so if you're expecting it to taste like a soda that like you know and love and be a healthy replacement, it's a different kind of taste, and I feel like that's not the way to get into it. But if you look at it like a fun like juice kind of drink that you can have, that's like have the flavors that you're not getting in soda. That's how you gotta get into Poppy. Okay. And a lot of them I think taste better watered down. Put some ice in it. I think I wouldn't say this about the punch one. The punch one's perfect. But like some of them, like the berry one, which is my other favorite, I would say like put it in a wine glass with some ice. Let it water down a little bit. It's better. Okay. Next. The concept of a fridge cigarette being a Diet Coke. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I saw that tweet. It was a tweet?
Yeah. People are talking about it now. They're like, why is it? It's caught on. And they're like, people are going to their fridge, getting a Diet Coke. That is my smoke break. We talked about this. We're like, why do smoke? Where's my Diet Coke break? Where's my fridge cigarette break? That is what it feels like. It's like, you crack it up. It's like, it's a fridge cigarette. I love it. Okay. And then next I am going to put that tiny print vending machine that I went to yesterday. It was so fun. I got 3 really cute little prints out of there. I can't wait to go to the one in Nashville. They're like all around the country. So you guys should find it. While Phoebe's doing her nightmare rotation, I'm going to find the actual name so that you can go look for it. But it was so fun. I fucking loved it. All right. Time for you.
First is Ace from Love Island. I think he's maniacal. I don't like him.
He's maniacal. He's nefarious. He's diabolical.
Yeah.
Okay, can we say something? There are such good words for villains.
Yes.
Villains get way better words than superheroes.
Totally.
Sorry. I mean, Dr. Nefario being a name in Despicable Me, I think it's like one of the best names ever.
I love
Dr.
that
Nefario.
Movie.
Dr. Nefario.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight.
You should.
Fruit flies next. Fucking hate them.
I had bugs on my nightmare last week. You feel that time of year.
They're coming up through one keeps flying right across my screen.
That's evil.
They're like coming up through the drain, I feel like is what it is. But I bought those things that Mom has at her house with the sticky back, and it's like you plug it into your wall. That is a night and day difference.
I use a thing called a catchy, and it's like
I know what those are. I don't want to invest in them, and also I don't like there was one where I worked at one point, and the dust accumulation. I don't want another thing to clean. This thing, you just switch the thing out. And also bugs are fucking stupid. I love when I see them trapped, and I'm like, stupid.
Like you really haven't been taught, because let me tell you. Most bugs should be taught if you see a purple light, you shouldn't fly towards it.
No, literally, but they're stupid.
Not these ones. Do you have another one?
Bonnaroo was last.
Oh, yeah. And hey, Bonnaroo, you might end up in the permanent nightmare rotation.
If you're not careful.
If you keep this shit up. And for me, you might already be there. Like, I'm not, let me tell you, when I venture to a festival next, it's not going to be Bonnaroo.
I do think that's
not even on the list.
Like, I think that people are it's going to go back to being a very specific niche group of people that can handle it.
Yeah. That can freaking handle the elements.
Exactly.
That are hardcore camper festival goers. Yeah.
Totally.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. This is a longer one, but we had a lot to discuss, so hopefully you enjoyed. Let us know what you would like to see from us. We're going to be doing a pretty little punch bowl on the Patreon coming up. That'll be our next Patreon episode of June, so let us know what you'd like us to talk about. On Thursday, we're recapping Season 7, Episode 8 of Pretty Little Liars. And if you want to get the full rundown of everything that happened with Judge Lyman dismissing Baldoni and Wayfarer's $400 million lawsuit, you can go listen to our Patreon episode from last week. It's on the $3 tier for the first tier of our Patreon. And while you're there, you can listen to like a zillion other episodes that you haven't listened to yet. So it's really worth it. Go listen to it. Lots of them are video. Patreon's the place to be. And please, 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 if you could leave us a 5-star review, especially on Apple Podcasts, it helps us out more than you know. Write a few words. We love to read about ourselves. We love you guys so much. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. And splat. Do you hate my outro or something?
What?
He's like, when I start talking, doing my outro, you're like rubbing your eyes like, Do you hate it?
No, I was rubbing my eye. It was watery.
Well, I know that.